Well, Newzroom Africa's Vaylen Kirtley is tracking that story for us. She joins us live from the Cape Town International Convention Centre. Vaylen, good afternoon. Some incredibly important conversations taking place there, and I imagine some powerful voices in the room.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Michelle. We had the morning kicked off with Chief Justice, South Africa's first female Chief Justice, Mandisa Meyer, welcoming everybody to Cape Town for this very important conference. It's the first time that this conference actually takes place here in South Africa, but it's more than just a meeting place of high-ranking officials, female judges from around the world. It also is wanting to discuss an incredibly important theme, and that is resilience, women leadership in fighting gender-based violence and femicide. This is what the keynote address by the president was focused on. And then he went a little off script to highlight something that was raised by the IAWJ president, Justice Binta, when she opened her with her opening remarks, where she mentioned that sextortion is something that many young ladies who are wanting to go into the jurisprudence are have to fight against. And this is something that the president brought up. He said there's nothing more demeaning than a young woman who by an older man is asked for sexual favors in order to rise in their career, and quite adamantly said this has to stop. So important things coming from the president's address, and some of the important topics that are going to be looked at throughout this conference, which runs until Saturday. Joining me now is the IAWJ president from Ghana. The chapter in Ghana has been going for the last 15 years, since 2010. She herself has been president since for the last 3 years. Justice Rita Agaman Abudu, a very good afternoon. Welcome to Newzroom Africa. Good to be chatting to you. Not only is this a celebration, that's what we saw when all the countries were announced, lots of flags, lots of singing. It was fantastic, very colourful, but there's also really important conversations that are going to be had here today. What are you hoping will come out of this conference?
I'm very happy to be here, and then we are so excited. We are about 18 delegates from Ghana, and we are very hopeful that we are going to take home a lot, because the theme is very apt and it affects all of us as women judges. We have about 230 women judges in Ghana, and so we'll carry the message across, and we hope to be very resilient as we get home in respect of gender-based violence. And then we are also so happy to meet the president, and we were very much impressed by his message, and we love South Africa already, and we hope for a very successful conference. Thank you.
Where do you think the gaps lie? In Ghana specifically, where are the gaps lying that you aren't able to kind of see the justice that you would like in Ghanaian society for those victims of gender-based violence?
I think lack of education is part of it. We are trying to educate families to know that they have rights when it comes to gender violence. Traditionally, people will not send their family members to court for defiling for defiling underage children. But now it's coming up. We are giving them education. We want them to know that it is of right. They have a right to come to court. So we've been having seminars involving queen mothers, opinion leaders, and other people who are very important in the society, so that it will get to the root, the bottom line, and everyone will know that they have a right. Being a victim of gender-based violence is not the end of the world. You have a remedy in the courts.
As long as the courts are able to close those legal frameworks.
The courts, I must add, we try these matters as expeditiously as possible, because these are very sensitive and we treat them as such.
That is Justice Rita Aigeman-Budu, who is a High Court judge in Accra, Ghana. She's also the president of IAWJ in the Ghanaian chapter. The theme was something that Chief Justice from South Africa, Justice Mandisa Maya, also raised when she welcomed the delegates to this conference.
Although significant progress has been made in the international and national efforts to combat gender-based violence and femicide, with various laws and policies implemented to address it, this social ill remains widespread with devastating consequences. Approximately 51,100 women worldwide who were killed by intimate partners or family members in 2023 pay testament to the fact that the most dangerous place for women and girls remains the home. And most shamefully, despite all the laudable policy and legislative interventions in place, many of them initiated by the president himself, South Africa has for many years now held the ignominious title of being at the very top of countries that cannibalize their women and children, and has the highest levels of gender-based violence and the plundering of its children.
And Vaylen, what a damning statement there from Chief Justice Mandisa Maya, that South Africa has this ignominious title of cannibalizing its women and children. And we know it well, don't we? Just take a look at our headlines over the past couple of weeks. What's on the schedule for the next 2 or 3 days as this conference continues?
Yes, certainly strong statements, and something that the president highlighted during his address as well. He said there's lots of fanfare, lots of singing, very colourful, as many of the delegates have worn the colours of their nation in this opening day. But over the next 3 days, there's going to be really important workshops that are going to be discussed. And among the things that are going to be discussed is not only, I mentioned, sextortion and the lived experiences of those that have walked the journey through the jurisprudence in their respective countries and what they may have come up against, but also they're going to be tackling issues of gender-based violence. They're going to be tackling issues of how they themselves are able to, because in many countries there's a certain there's not equality among the representation for female judges, and how they are able to support one another even though they may be in the minority. So these are issues that are going to be discussed. Human trafficking is going to be discussed. But I think one of the big key points, and this is the reason why it's the theme of the conference, and that is gender-based violence and how women leadership is able to tackle that. This is something that the president highlighted, something that the Minister of Justice, Mamoloko Kubaya, also mentioned, that they will be investigating where the gaps in the legal framework exist that need to be plugged in order for cases that do come to light, in order for justice to be served, so that trust can be rebuilt for people, for the public, not only here in South Africa, but it would be the same in any of the other countries, but for trust to be built in the justice system, that when somebody goes that is a victim of gender-based violence, when they go to the police, they have confidence that something will happen, and that will increase the amount of cases reported. Because you know as well as I do, Michelle, that whenever those crime statistics come out, we hear, yes, there's been an increase in rape. We hear the amount of, the percentage amount increase, but then you always have that those are only the cases that are reported and not those that are not reported.